Study the following information carefully and answer the questions given below. P, Q, R, S, T, U, V and W are sitting around a circular table but not necessarily in the same order. 4 of them are facing the center while the remaining 4 are not facing the center. So out of 8 persons, 4 are facing center, and obviously the remaining 4 are not facing the center, meaning what? They are facing outwards, right? They are facing outwards. That's what is the point there. Now they all have obtained different marks in an examination. The marks of all the 4 persons who are facing the center are multiples of 3, while the marks of all other 4 who are facing away from the center are multiples of 2. Now, first and foremost, you need to understand what is the significance of a person facing center and a person facing outwards. When a person is facing center, left should be taken in the clockwise direction, right has to be taken in the anti-clockwise direction. When a person is facing outwards, left becomes anti-clockwise and right becomes clockwise. For detailed understanding of this concept, please watch our introductory videos on circular arrangements. Now, other interesting point here is people who are facing center have scored marks which are multiples of 3. So if you know that a particular person has scored a multiple of 3, you can take it for granted that he is facing the center. And people who are facing away from the center, they have scored marks which are multiples of 2, right? So if a person has scored a multiple of 2, then you can conclude that he is facing outwards. So kind of a complex arrangement because we have to arrange 8 persons around the table. It's a combination of center and outward facing people, and also find out who has scored how many marks. So let's start with the first circle. We may have possibilities here, so we may have to try out 2 or 4 cases, but let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. These are the 8 positions. Let's start with the first point. T sits third to the left of P, who is not facing the center. Now remember, one advantage we have in case of circular arrangements is that you can start from wherever you want. There is no particular fixed position. There is no first position or second position here. Any position can be taken as first position, and then we can do it relatively after that. Okay, so the first point says T sits third to the left of P, who is not facing the center. Who here refers to whom? P. P is not facing the center. If P is not facing the center, obviously P is facing inwards. Let's assume P is here. P is facing the center. Sorry, who's not facing? Sorry, I'm sorry. He is not facing the center, so P is facing outwards. Let me clear this. P is not facing the center, so P is outwards. Okay, P is facing outwards. T sits third to the left of P, who is not facing the center. So P is facing outwards, and we have fixed P's position. Now, with respect to P, I can plant T now. T sits third to the left of P. Now, when a person is facing outwards, left is in the anti-clockwise direction. So T is third to the left of P. First, second, third. T comes here. Is T facing center or outwards? We do not know. Is T facing center or outwards? We do not know, right? Next point. Only 2 persons sit. I'm sorry about this error here. Typo. Only 2 persons sit between T and the one whose marks is 52. Only 2 persons sit between T and the one whose marks is 52. Now see, T is here. He says only 2 persons sit between T and the one whose marks is 52. So between T and the guy who has got 52 marks, there are only 2 persons. So there are 2 possibilities. 1, 2, 52 can be allotted to P, or 1, 2, 52 can be allotted in this position as well. Remember, P is facing outwards. P's score should be a multiple of 2. Since P is facing away from the center, his score should be a multiple of 2. So even P could have scored 52. If P was facing center, then I can say that P cannot get 52 marks because center facing people score multiple of 3. So 52 cannot come here, and then 52 could have been taken here. But the problem here is P is facing outwards. So P can take 52, or this person can also take 52. There are 2 possibilities. Then he says W sits second to the right of the one whose marks is 52. So we cannot proceed to the next point unless we fix 52. And for us to fix 52, I think we'll have to take the 2 possible cases. So let me take case 2 as well. Circular table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. P is here in this position, right? And T is 2 places away. 1, 2, T comes here. Now let's try it out. Try the second statement. Only 2 persons sit between T and 52. So T dash dash 52 is possible, or T dash dash 52 is possible. Remember, since 52 is a multiple of 2, anybody who's got 52 marks should be facing outwards. So P is anyway facing outwards. This position person also will be facing outwards. You should keep marking the directions as and when you find it out, right? So this person, whoever that person is, will be facing outwards. Now go to the third point. W sits second to the right of the one whose marks is 52. So W is second to the right of 52. Second to the right of 52. Take case number 1. Second to the right of 52. Since 52 is outwards, right is clockwise. First and second, and W comes here. Case number 2, 52 outwards, right is clockwise. First, second, W comes here. Is W facing center or outwards? We do not know yet. But W will be in that position. Next statement. Only 3 persons sit between W and Q whose marks is 74. Whose here refer to whom? Q. Remember, whose always refers to the previous person, preceding person. So only 3 people sit between W and Q whose marks is 74. So maybe we can try this. W is already fixed, right? 3 persons between W and Q. Now remember, we have always discussed in a circular table where there are 8 persons, and if some, there are 3 persons between X and Y, then X and Y have to be opposite. There is no other choice. See, for example, W and Q, there are 3 persons, right? W, 1, 2, 3, Q comes here. 1, 2, 3, Q comes here. Whether you go in the clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction from W, Q will always come opposite to W. Why? Because there are 3 persons between Q and W. In an arrangement where there are 8 persons, remember, if there are 8 persons, then having 3 persons between any 2 would mean that those 2 persons are opposite to each other. So W is fixed, Q will be opposite. Right? Similarly, W is fixed here, Q has to be opposite. Now, if W is here, opposite person should be Q. But can the opposite person be Q? No, because this is P. P and Q cannot come in the same position, which means this is wrong. Are you able to follow? 3 persons between W and Q. 1, 2, 3. Q has to come here. 1, 2, 3. Q has to come here. But this is already P. How can P and Q come in the same seat? Not possible. So case 2 is wrong. Case 1 is correct. Again, 3 persons between W and Q whose marks is 74. Q's marks is 74. And since Q has scored 74, Q should be facing outwards. Remember? Multiple of 2. 74 is a multiple of 2. Q should be facing outwards. Next point. One of W's immediate neighbor's marks is 63. One of W's immediate neighbor's marks is 63. So either this is 63 or this is 63. We do not know yet. And we will not take 2 cases again. Immediately. If it is, if you are unable to progress from here, we may take 2 cases, but otherwise let's assume that 63 either comes here or here. R sits second to the right of the one whose marks is 63. Remember, 63 is a multiple of 3. 63 is a multiple of 3. And multiple of 3 meaning what? Whoever has got 63 is facing center. Whoever has got 63 is facing center. So if this is 63, this should be facing center. If this is 63, this position would be facing center. The point here is R sits second to the right of the one whose marks is 63. Say right of 63 would mean anti-clockwise, because 63 wala person is facing center, and for center facing person, right is anti-clockwise. So suppose this is 63. Where will R come? Second to the right, he said, right? R is second to the right. So first and second, R has to come here. If this is 63, first and second, R has to come here. So I think both are possible, right? R sits second to the right of the one whose marks is 63. So let's do one thing. 63 and 63 dash let's take. So if this is 63, R will come here. If this is 63, R will come here. This will become R dash. Second to the right, first and second to the right. So 63 and R is one pair. 63 R dash is the other pair. 63 dash and R dash. So 63 dash is this, let's say. If 63 is in 63 dash, then R should be in R dash position. If you don't want this complexity, duplicate the case immediately. Take 63 and R in one set, 63 dash and R dash in the other set, and proceed. Yeah? But let me try out. If we are able to rule out any one of these, I can complete in the same circular arrangement. Only one person sits between R and U. Only one person sits between R and U. Okay. So I think I am better off taking the duplicate case. Otherwise it is only getting complex. Only one person sits between R and U. If this is R, you can come here or here. If this is R, then you definitely has to come here. So I would do one thing. I'll have to clear the arrangement at the bottom here. And let me, finish it. There are 2 possible cases, like we all know. I'm trying those 2 now. I'm better off fixing whatever we know already. So P52 is fixed. Q 74 is fixed, T is fixed here, and W is fixed here, right? P facing outwards with 52 marks, Q facing outwards 74 marks, T is here, W is here. Now, let's say 63 is here and R is here. In the other case, we will take 63 here and R here. Since 63 will be center facing persons, this should be center, right? Because 63 mean what? Multiple of 3. Multiple of 3 is center facing person. Now let me clear the unwanted stuff from this first arrangement. Okay, so now let's proceed. 63 center facing arrangement. R sits second to the right of the one whose marks is 63. Second to the right. Okay, only one person sits between R and U. Now R is here. Where can U come? Either U comes here or U comes here. These are the only two possibilities. Only one person between R and U. So R dash U or R dash U. In this case, R is here. Where can U come? U cannot come here because it's already T. So U has to come here. Okay, it's fixed. Now next point. This is done. Only one person sits between R and U. The marks of the one who sits second to the left of U is 1 mark more than Q. Second to the left of U. First of all, let us find out who is second to the left of U. Yeah, second to the left of you. The marks of the one who sits second to the left of you is 1 mark more than Q. See, Q has scored 74 marks. 1 mark more than Q means what? 75 marks. So I can, instead of saying this, I can say 75. What is 75? The marks of the one who sits second to the left of you is 75. 1 mark more than Q. Q plus 1, 75. Second to the left of you. Now, what is left of you? We can't say. Like, for example, in this case, in second case at least, left of U should be clockwise because U is center facing person. You see, in case number 2, U is center facing person. So second to the left of U, first and second, left of U will be clockwise. This will be 75. And since this is 75, this person also will be center facing because 75 is a multiple of 3. So with respect to case 2, it's done. Look at case 1. If U is here, second to the left of U, it could be this or this, both are possible. That should be 75. If U is here, first and second, then this should be 75. So with respect to case 1, there are multiple, there are again 2 possibilities. With respect to case 2, there is only 1 possibility, but in case 1, we have got 2 possibilities. U is here, right? If U is here, second to the left of U, T should be 75 marks. If U is here, again left of U cannot be decided because center or outward is not known. T could be 75 or R could be 75. So let's proceed. Let's see what happens. The marks of the one who is an immediate neighbor of the one whose marks is 75 is equal to the difference between the marks of Q and P. Acha, first of all, difference between the marks of Q and P. Q has scored 74, P has scored 52. Difference is how much? 22. Difference between marks of Q and P is 22. Yes or no? 74 minus 52. 22. Right? So the marks of the one who is immediate neighbor of the one whose marks is 75 is equal to 22. So immediate neighbor of 75 is 22. Immediate neighbor of 75 is 22. So 75 is here. Either 22 can be this or 22 can be this. Yes or no? 75. Immediate neighbor of 75. The marks of the one who is an immediate neighbor of 75 is 22. So either this is 22 or this is 22. In case number 1, 75 itself is not fixed. 75 can be this or can be this. 2 possibilities are there, and accordingly immediate neighbor of 75 should be 22. So 22 can be this or this. So if this is 75, immediate neighbor of 75 should be 22, right? This neighbor is 52, so this neighbor should be 22. 75, 22. And if this is 75, let's say 75 dash, this should be 22 dash. You understand this concept of dash? 75, 22 is one pair. 75 dash, 22 dash is the other pair. What we know is immediate neighbor of 75 has got 22. So here immediate neighbor of 75 dash is 74. Cannot be 22. This neighbor should be 22. So 75 dash 22 dash represents one possibility. 75 25 represents the other possibility. In this case, 75 is anyway this only, either 22 here or 22 here. Let's proceed. I don't want to take the third case. Actually, in case number 1, we can again get one more possibility and then try out everything. But let's see. Let's go further. Yeah. S is not an immediate neighbor of T. S is not an immediate neighbor of T. S is not an immediate neighbor of T. S is not a neighbor of T meaning what? S cannot come here. It can come here or here. These are the two possibilities. In this case, S cannot come here. Achha, by the way, I think we have already marked P, R, W, T, Q. P, R, W, T, Q. So P, R, W, T, Q are done. S, U, V are left out. U also possible positions are there. In this case, U also is marked in fact. So S and V. What we know, S is not an immediate neighbor of T. S is not a neighbor of T. S cannot come here. So the only place where S can come in case number 2 is this. S is fixed. Yes or no? S is not an immediate neighbor of T. So S cannot come here. S has to come here. And then this has to be V. Yes or no? This has to be V. In case number 1, S is not a neighbor of T. S cannot come here. S will either come here or here. So U and S will occupy these two positions. Understand? S should not be a neighbor of T. So S can either come here or S can come here. Meaning if U comes here, S will come here. If U comes here, then S would go there. Neither U will come here nor S will come here. So this means this is V. So V is fixed. Indirectly V is fixed in case 1 also. Only between U and S we have to decide. Next, the marks of one of them is 21, but this is not the immediate neighbor of Q. One of them has scored 21, but this person is not the neighbor of Q. Okay. I think case number 2 looks more promising because here we don't have multiple possibilities. He says one of the persons has scored 21, but this person is not the neighbor of Q. So who can score 21? You see, 21 cannot come for T or R because it should not be a neighbor of Q. It cannot come here. This is 52 fixed. This is 63 fixed. This is 75 fixed. Either 21 comes here or here between V and W. The marks of W is a perfect square. Okay, this will help us. You see, the marks of W is a perfect square. Okay, this will give a lot of clarity. Marks of W is a perfect square. Is 22 a perfect square? No. So 22 cannot come here, which means 22 has to go for V. The marks of W is not a perfect square. So is 22 a perfect square? No, 22 cannot come here, which means 22 has to go for V again. And since 22 is an even number, meaning a multiple of 2, this person should be outward facing. Yes or no? So with respect to 22, things are done. I'll just clear up unwanted stuff so that it looks simple. Achha, by the way, since 22 is 22 dash, this should be 75. Remember in the previous case, we had 22 dash, 75 dash as a possibility. 22, 75 was one possibility. 22 dash, 75 dash was the other possibility. If 22 is not the case, 75 will not be the case. So this is 22, this is 75. Let's fix that. I think we are done now. This is 75. So 75 dash also is ruled out. Yeah. Here also 22. Okay. Now go back and look at the missing points, right? What is the point? Marks of one of them is 21, but this is not the neighbor of Q. So 21, one of them has scored 21 and it's not a neighbor of Q. So 21 cannot come for T or R in case number 2. 21 has to come for W. And since it is 21, which is a multiple of 3, W is center facing. Similarly, in case number 1, 21 should not be for neighbor of Q. So it should be for W or R, one of these two guys. Fine. The marks of W is a perfect square. Achha, 21 cannot come for W also, understand. Because the marks of W is a perfect square, right? We know that the marks of 21, I mean, whoever has scored 21 is not a neighbor of Q. So 21 cannot come here. These 3 marks are already fixed. 21 cannot come for W also because W has scored a perfect square. So 21 comes for R. And since 21 is a perfect, 21 is a multiple of 3, R is facing center. Yeah. Now go to the next point. The marks of W is a perfect square and his marks lies between the marks of Q and P. What are the marks of Q? Q has scored 74. What is the marks of P? P has scored 52. What is the perfect square between 52 and 74? 64 is a perfect square. That's the only perfect square, right? So the marks of W is a perfect square and it lies between 74 and 52. So between 74 and 52, the only perfect square is 64, which means W has scored 64 marks. 64 marks. Wherever W should be scoring 64 marks. Hold on, why did I write 21 here? W should not be taking 21, right? Case number 2 comes out to be wrong because 21, he very clearly mentioned that somebody has scored 21 and that person is not a neighbor of Q. So 21 cannot come for these two guys. V has already got 22, S has got 75, U has got 63, P has got 52. So W should be getting 21. But is 21 a perfect square? No. Which means case number 2 is wrong. Case number 1 should be correct. Right? According to case number 2, W should be scoring 21. But data says W should have scored perfect square. So this gets ruled out. Marks of W are 64. Right? The marks of S is 5 more than that of W. S has scored 5 more than W. So W has scored 64. S will score 64 plus 5. 69. S should score 69. So can S come in this place? No, because this is 63. S cannot come here. There are only two possible places for S, either this or this. S cannot come here because S has scored 69. So S has to come here with 69 marks. And if S cannot come here, U has to go there. So I think we are done. 69 is center facing, 63 is also center facing. Is it done? I guess it is done, right? All the persons are done, all the marks are also done. Directions of course can be done based on the marks. W is 64, so outwards. T is 75, so inwards. Now check, 4 inwards, 4 outwards have to be there. So W is outwards, V is outwards, Q is outwards, P is outwards. R, S, T and U are inwards. Done. Case number 1 is the final answer. So not a very complex one, not a very complex one. What happened? How did we eliminate case number 2 here? We got W as 21 marks because 21 could not come anywhere else. It said 21 cannot be a neighbor of Q. So 21 does not come here. All others were fixed except W. So W should be scoring 21. But then W should be a perfect square. I mean, he should have scored a perfect square. 21 is not a perfect square. So we could eliminate case number 2. And case number 1 is the final solution. Now answer the questions quickly. What is the marks of S? What's the marks of S? S has scored 69. 69. How many persons are there between P and S when counted from P in anti-clockwise direction? P and S when counted from P in anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction between P and S, 0 persons. Because P and S are immediate neighbors, right? So you have to count in the anti-clockwise direction. If you count in the clockwise direction, there will be 6 persons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But from P, you have to count in anti-clockwise direction. So from P, if I count in anti-clockwise direction, there are 0 persons between P and S. So none. None means 0, right? I mean, of course, 4 is not the answer, 2 is not the answer, 3 is not the answer, more than 5 also not the answer. So answer has to be D. Who among the following sits opposite to the one whose marks is 52? Who's got 52? P. Who's opposite to P? V. V should be the answer. What is the difference between the marks of U and R? Difference between U and R. U has scored 63, R has scored 21. What is the difference? 42. Between U and R, the difference is 42. Done. With this arrangement is done.